Good evening. I'd like to call this special call meeting for the City of San Juan at 5 p.m. We rise for pledge of allegiance. Please the flag, please.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. May be seated. Mr. Juan.
Mayor, good evening, commissioners, staff, community members. First item here on the agenda, we have discussion of possible action. So as we know, we'll be looking and talking about that item over at the south side with the police safety building, public safety building, along with the municipal court. So before we do that, we have the discussion of possible action approving the public safety building renovation extension in the municipal court. We had this meeting something back, but we brought it back so that you could see the actual renders on the safety building, and if there's any conditions that you may want to consider, this will be the time to do that before we go into COs. So with us we have Mr. Brian. Oh, this is Mr. Bob. We're doing the extension, right? So we have Mr. Brian Godinez with us and Mr. Manny here with us to give us a presentation of the public safety building. Okay. In front of you have a packet. We have a packet right in front of you so we can go through it, so they can go through it.
Good afternoon, Mayor, Commissioners, Mr. Acona. My name is Brian Godinez, I'm principal with ERO Architects. Will somebody be able to change slides for me? Yes. Thank you. Okay, let's go ahead and change. I'm going to go over some similarities to a presentation we made a couple of months ago to you, Mayor and Commissioners, with regards to the police department expansion and the work we've done with Chief Fuentes and Ben and his staff. And what you'll see today is just some enhancements and modifications we made to the building, the future building. We didn't add any more square feet, we just made modifications. I'll show you those in just a minute. We'll remind you all on the front facade, it's still the same. We haven't changed it or altered it, where you have the entrance to the public safety building on the west side, and on the east side is the entrance to the proposed municipal court. Go ahead and change the slide. This will give you a front view of what this will look like. But we're still sitting on 33,000 square feet of both renovated space and expanded space for the project. Next slide. So can you zoom in on this slide? Would it be possible you can zoom in on this PDF file? This is the aerial view of the site, what it looks like when you have the expanded facility next to the water tower with all of the additional parking and existing parking that's there in the building. What you'll see is the existing facility expansion of about 9,000 square feet, and then the addition is hovering at about 33,000 for a total of square footage. I can't read that, but is that 42? 42, yeah, 42 and some change. And then you see the expansion. We'll get that in more detail here in just a second. I just wanted you to get an aerial view. Can you zoom in a little bit more on that particular building? And then one of the things that's not included in the budget, but it's a request that was made by Chief Fuentes and also Ben, was some outdoor areas for recreation and also just getting outside of the building for any kind of gathering space there with a pavilion, patio, and outdoor storage. That is not included in the budget that we proposed to the commission, and it's not included in the square footage, but it's for future expansion for the outdoor area there that you see in the dotted lines, those three spaces. But that is pretty much the footprint of the building with the parking lots. Again, 9,000 on the existing facility that's going to be renovated, and an addition of 33,400 square feet for a total of 42,400 square feet. Next slide. So this is the layout of the building now. That's pretty difficult to see from this, but what we did is that we, based on the recommendations of Mr. Acona and the chief, we decided to make more space available between private and public areas so that it was more secure, and also have more secure corridors. That was one of the core areas of function that we did for that. And I'll just kind of take you around here, the building. Let's start at the top left-hand corner, if you could zoom in on that. This is the entrance to the to the police department public safety complex from this side of the west side of the building. And this is sort of the lobby area and office space. You'll see some spaces there that are not allocated yet. That's to be determined in the future by the chief and what he will be doing with those office spaces. But this is generally a public and or office areas in there. And then when you go down and closer there, you'll start seeing, go ahead and just go down there. You'll see the locker rooms on the right, the green spaces for the male and female locker rooms. And then over to the left over there, you'll see the, again, I cannot tell here, but I believe that is the, Manny, help me out over here because I can't see right there, but just the left over here. Over here, criminal investigation.
Right. And then to the left is going to be the administration.
Left is administration, the chief's office, and his administrative offices on the far left over there of that. And then go further down there. Armory.
And that's what we're going to have a lot of that's basically the armory department. And next to that.
Come on over here in the microphone so they can hear you, Manny.
Okay. To the south of the administration area that we see in, I guess that light purple color, that's going to be the armory and sergeant master, so that's going to be their zone. And immediately to the right of that, that is going to be the evidence and property storage and processing area. That was the area that was reworked from the previous presentation. And then if you can scroll down just a little bit more and show more of the right side of the building. I'm sorry, yeah, up a little bit more. There we go, a little bit more. That is a new judicial area along with the holding, both for juvenile and adults. That was part of the initial presentation from last time as well, so that just remained as unmodified.
4 juvenile jail cells for male and female, and then when you go lower down there, then you get into the adult area with 10 jail cells and separation between men and women on the left and right side of that room space that you can see there, all connected to the sally port, where all of the secure entrance, where the inmates and or those arrested that come in, they'll be coming in through that sally port, and then in that processing area in the middle, and then if they're juvenile, they go up to the top side up there, and if they're adult, they go to the bottom side. Once they leave the holding areas there.
So are these actual jail cells or are they holding cells?
They'll be holding cells.
Okay.
That's the juries.
The juries.
For the juvenile.
Yeah, exactly.
Juvenile
Yeah.
holding cell.
Because they can only stay 4 hours, right, Chief?
6 hours.
6 hours. Okay. So when you get to the adults, are they going to be actual jail cells?
We still have them labeled as holding cells. I guess through the security measures that we go through, we could make that determination if they're going to be full-blown jail cells for long-term housing. Is that?
The schools that we have there are only temporary.
That's what I was saying. They're more like holding cells. They're not.
We can't hold over 40 hours depending on the circumstance.
Over 48 hours?
I mean, yes, over 48 hours.
Yeah, but they'll be there overnight.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Like on a weekend.
So those would be holding cells, sir.
Okay. I apologize for using the word jail, but they're holding.
No, I mean.
It's a detention area there. That's pretty much the floor plan layout with the modifications. Most of the focus was to create more secure corridor access and distinguish and or separate more of the private public area, private public spaces in terms of the detention areas versus the muni court lobby areas, and then the entrance areas of the public complex side and going into the investigation areas and police areas, office areas, etc. That's what was asked of us to do. And Chief, so is there anything else that you want to add in terms of what we did on this new floor plan layout?
Have you been able to review it all, like with your upper brass and your
I received it this weekend. We sat down today and reviewed some of it. We did have some questions in reference to minor stuff. Just minor stuff in reference to offices, floors,
I will remind you all that this is a preliminary design phase.
Do we still have time?
Yeah, once we get into schematic, that's when we're going to start really getting into detail and doing detailed layouts of the floor plans, and of course elevations and other aspects of the building.
I really think that you need to sit down with, I know, the courts
Yeah.
and the judges as well.
Yeah.
And as well as PD, and really get their expertise when it comes to this.
Yes.
You know, because they are the professionals. This is what
And
they
we
do.
have set with them, with the judge's office for the meeting court development, that space is over there.
Yeah, so, and I guess just figure out and see when we can, I guess, have a full-blown, I guess, workshop together.
Well, we'd like to do that during the schematic phase, if that'd be all right. We can do it then.
Well, I just don't want to feel rushed. I want them to have time
Yeah.
to really, you know, dissect this and figure out what are the needs
Right.
and what are the wants. And as far as the floor plan, I mean, it looks great. Don't get me
Yeah.
wrong, but, you know, I just want to make sure that everything's up to what their specs,
Yeah.
what they need.
But I want to assure you, Mayor, that this was not done without their input.
No problem.
Yeah, they were very actively involved in this. I mean, I don't know if you want to comment on that, Chief. So I think-
Yes, there was some, our primary thing was the juveniles. That's why we wanted to make sure that they were properly, you know, separated, just so we could be in compliance with the state. And just for the security of the court as well. But like I said, there's some minor stuff that we would like to sit down and
Right.
adjust it.
And there are many occasions during the design and construction drawing phases where reviews continue on all the way till you get to bidding and negotiation. And even in bidding negotiation, sometimes there even is some minor changes that occur before construction even starts. So there'll be many occasions for us to sit down and visit and keep refining.
Judge Garza, do you
Yes.
have any input so far with the plan?
Yes, they kind of really changed the layout quite a bit. I'm wondering where the clerks are going to sit and where the payments are going to be taken. I don't really see a spot for that.
Can you zoom in on the court there on the top right-hand corner, as close as you can get to that little blue space over there by the,
No, the blue
Court.
space is juvenile. The court is like right there with the...
right there, yeah, right there in that space. Go ahead and zoom in a little bit more. There you go.
We have the waiting, and also how are we going to act? How are people coming in from the outside going to access the court itself? Do they have to go through the juvenile area?
No, it would be through the lobby on the north side of the records. That entrance would be defined a little bit more. So you're gonna come in on that north side. I think there's a door missing in that area. So
Okay, and where are clerks going to be to take payments?
the clerks, from my understanding, for the change from last time, is also going to be part of that records area in the front that spans both sides. That will allow access both to the lobby and into the courtroom as well.
I'm not sure that's going to be enough room for records and clerks.
So that clerks, okay. We can go ahead and adjust that and actually readjust part of that waiting area as well and redesign some of that space to accommodate for a dedicated payments portion as well.
Right, we need to have a total separation between records and clerks.
Not a problem. That shouldn't be a problem. We have plenty of room in that space to do that.
Okay. Yeah, that's my primary concern. Where the clerk's going to be, where the payment stations are going to be, how are they going to access the court?
Correct.
As far as everything else looks fine, but that's my primary concern.
We can work on that circulation and entry into that courtroom and allow for those two departments to work in that little space right there by the waiting area records.
Okay, because we're going to have three
Cashiers or
cashiers,
Right.
at least. I mean, and
Okay.
room for growth.
Okay, not a problem, sir. And then everything else in judges' chambers, that little portion of the office isolation, we also try to give you private access both to parking and circulation. Trying to remove you from general public as well. Trying to come to the backside, so we took that into consideration. So you guys are pretty isolated in your suite.
So Ben Edgar will be back from vacation after this week, and he's the project manager, and we'll just get the meeting set up with the chief and with the judge and we'll refine this layout that we have here to be sure we address their questions.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think that has to play. And there's obviously Judge Gassa had some pretty good concerns on this. Just gotta want to make sure that everything's on point. And so, and another key thing he mentioned was the growth. Obviously the city's growing.
Yes.
We need to grow with it as well. So we just gotta make sure that we can have a court system that's gonna be there for the next 50, 60 years. You know. Okay. Any other questions in regards to this?
Just so the public can know, Chief Cifuentes, right now, what is the staff number and what are we looking at as far as the future? I know we're projecting for growth, but right now you're at a staff of what?
We're 50, well, we're actually need 8 more to hire the.
8 more to get what we have for the, so, but we're looking at the future of close to 100, correct?
Yes, we're supposed to be at 80 so. If we go by the FPS.
So I guess at this time.
Next slide. I just have 2 more slides to invite.
Okay. Go ahead.
Yeah, that's all right. So this is our proposed schedule for delivery of construction drawings through bidding, negotiation, and eventually construction. Those time frames in terms of each of the phases of delivery of construction drawings and through bidding, negotiation, construction itself, none of that will change other than the dates will change. Once you give us a notice to proceed, we'll just adjust that schedule based on that. But the actual time frame of delivery of each of those phases still stay the same. And then the last slide, the cost of the project still holds at the $11,250,000. The addition is 9.9, and the renovation space that we have there allocated is at 1.350, $1,350,000. That $300 per square foot is really good news. A year ago, it would have been $400 per square foot.
Anything else?
That's it.
So I guess at this time, I'm just going to go ahead and maybe ask the members of the commission just to go ahead and take no action on this item, just for the simple reason that we need to figure out and see whether, because this is not set in stone, right?
No.
Okay.
I don't think there was action required tonight, was there?
What's this possible action?
Was there?
Yeah.
I'm not aware that there was action.
Okay.
Yeah.
So at this time, I'm just going to recommend that we take no action this time until we come back and you get with everyone.
Sure.
And make sure that we don't have any wasted space as well.
Right.
And maybe we can get this cost down more and figure out and see how further we can lower this cost. 11 million is pretty,
And not only that, you can get a hold of with Judge Garza to go ahead, the change that he wants to more or less modify.
Yes, yes, sir.
thank you very much. Anything else?
No, I would like that meeting scheduled. You said the budget when it comes back this week?
We'll be back Friday, so we can schedule it next week.
Yes, that would be great. We want to get right on it right away so we don't waste any more time.
What I'd like to do is have some time to visit with the chief and with the judge, and then come back and give you the next iteration of this.
Okay.
Sounds
So you
good.
can take a look at it.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
So like when you do meet with them, are you going to meet with them individually or together? Or how do you want to do this?
I think the meetings have been separate.
Okay.
Yeah. They're fairly divided in spaces, you know, with regards to the judge's spaces.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the chief's spaces, so. Yeah,
Perfect.
that seems to be working fine.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you all very much.
Yes,
Thank you.
thank you.
Do you need another copy? Oh, okay, thanks.
So yeah, this is the total square footage of 44 plus J's, and that's including the actual, not only the new construction, but also the renovation. It doesn't mean that we're going to be anything considered proposing the renovation, maybe just extension on it. And that will be, I guess, determined later when actually we can have the actual landing as to maybe an actual workshop as well as going to be taken with the leader or add something to it. But that will be at the, maybe at the next workshop that we may have with this particular project.
I don't know if there would be also anything that Hollis maybe might be able to provide information that would help us out. Any type of grants that would be available that we might actually qualify for to help with the expense.
We'll meet with the guys individually. I mean, I'd like to do it individually first and then together. So if there's any extras that they may be affecting one or the other, or this or we'll do that as well. But once we come back with you guys as far as on the workshop, we'll already know what I'm going individually together.
And just make sure that you also exhausted and tackle measures as far as, you know, how Commissioner Vita mentioned about grants or what's out there to help decrease the cost on those, because it's pretty steep.
So there's an opportunity with one of the congressmen, but I'll give you that.
See, that's one source there. Correct. Okay, thank you.
So moving on there, Commissioners, on the next one is a resolution that has to do with the report. It doesn't mean that the amount that is going to be asked for is going to be, let's say for instance, the very point you do, it doesn't mean that only one of the CEOs, it can be less. But Municipal is here for the consideration of appropriate action on the resolution by the City Commission of the City of San Juan, authorizing the publication of notice of intention to issue CEOs comply with the requirements contained in the Securities and Exchange Commission Rule 15C2-12 and providing an effective date. Bob is here to talk to us about the actual process of the CEOs, how we can sell them, and the time frame that we have, which is 45 days before and after the election of the tax rate.
From today's notice in the paper tomorrow, 45 days, which is about September 10th is when we can sell, which is right before adopting the tax rate and the budget.
So he's here to talk to us about that. I think it's in your package, the schedule. It's in the way back.
I think right past the y'all have this right here.
Yeah.
So anyway, if you go to page 2, just to page 2. Okay, there you go. So essentially, that's where again, Bobby Villarreal was from the most your financial advisor, Dr. Angel Magallanes is with us. Well, he's a doctor now. Yeah. No prescriptions, just educational. But anyway, so this is the list of the debt that the city has, and as you can note, since 2020, the overall tax rate of the city has actually gone down from 69.93 down to 67.65, so about 2.3 pennies of tax rate cuts. Good for you guys. And then as you can see, the debt is falling off over time, and so as that happens, and the city continues to grow, that allows the city to do things without impacting the tax rate, and to grow with it, and we can do capital projects methodically. Don't overdo it, but do it in a methodical way. Again, going to the next page, page 3, this is a project list that we work with staff on. So it's approximately about $14.5 million projects, public safety, some streets, the fire building, finish out of that, and some heavy equipment that the city was needing. And again, just so you know, and we work with your bond attorney, and so he wrote this in a way that if any of these figures were to go down, you can move monies over to say streets or some other equipment. It's just this is the top line description of things that you are looking at. Again, if the municipal public safety building were to go down in price, we can move that over to street rehab or other things like that. And again, like Ben mentioned, what you're doing today is, and we did this last year with you guys, is this is a notice of intent not to exceed 14.5. Between now and those 45 days, Ben and the council comes back and says, we only really need 5 or 8 or 10, we can modify and do that as well. But this is just, if between now and then you say, boy, we needed more, we just can't do any more at that point. So today is just establishing the top line at being 14.5. And then again, if you go to page 4, this describes, if you notice on the third column from the right to the left, the INS rate of the city is at 21 pennies. That's your interest in seeking to pay your debts. again, what we have right now is by selling these 14, we're projecting roughly a payment of about $1 million or so a year, and then that doesn't require any tax rate increase. We can keep it level, and then of course the rate declines over time as well. So as the city continues to grow, we structure these things in a way to where we're mitigating the tax rates as much as possible for y'all. Now again, like Ben mentioned, if you go to page 5, this is the timetable. Again, today it would be the notice from you guys, published in the paper twice, and then we'll work with staff, with Ben, Leroy, staff for ratings, and again come back to you September 10th to sell them, and about approximately 30 days thereafter you have the funds at the city. I don't know if there's any questions.
So even with all of this, we're not looking at increasing the city taxes at all.
No, ma'am.
It's great for the people.
And again, this is just a notice of intent. It's between now and 45 days. If you change your mind, we don't do anything. You could lower the amount. You just can't go more than 14.5.
For professionals.
Yeah.
Now, you mentioned that if for some reason there's money left over, we can kind of spill it over like the streets and stuff like that.
Correct.
Now, does it have to be, do we have to somehow put it on some kind of line item, like just how the way this is set? Or, I mean, you can just pretty much do whatever you want?
Well, what Arnold put in the documents, I don't have it in front of me, but essentially it's for public improvements. So essentially,
so regardless if it's not documented, well,
yeah,
on paper.
Yeah, well, it is documented in paper, but not specifically. Like those are specific ones right now. So again, like if a grant came in for the municipal building, or let's just make it the number 5 million, then we could move 5 to some streets or rehab or other things. And you could have a cost overrun on the fire building or whatever. Things. We wanted to create some latitude that if things moved around.
So you look at on page 15 on the resolution, which is page number 2, on the very bottom it says that the city, it goes for the purpose of paying contractual obligation to the city to be incurred for making permanent public improvements and for other public purposes to it. And you have a listing of pretty much all of that is there. So he kept it very vague, so if in case it's a street, it'll be covered in the street. So it says constructing street improvements, including utility repairs, placement and relocation, curbs, gutters, sidewalk improvement, including drainage. Everything is pretty much equal here, what we can do, what we cannot do.
And again, before you guys or any of us do anything, we check with Arnold to verify like it's lawful and feasible.
Question? Alright, is there a motion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor.
What else do you have? Well, before I want to close this meeting out, I know some of you are here to, honestly, I don't know to speak public comments. It's not, we're not authorized to do that today because it's a special call meeting, but I'm going to go ahead and I'm adjusting. So I'm going to go ahead and let you.
It says even if it's a special meeting.
Hold on, sir. Let me finish.
All right.
All right. I'm going to go ahead and let the individuals who want to come up here and address the commission. With that being said, is there a motion?
Second.
There's been a second. All those in favor say aye. Aye.